Hello, welcome along to the quick take. Stephen Sheldrake alongside me. It's finished Chelsea nil, Fulham nil. What a result for Marcus Silva's Black and White Army. 4 points from Chelsea this season. How are you feeling?
Oh, on top of the world. If you told me at the start of, the month with the fixtures we had, Chelsea, Spurs, Newcastle, Chelsea, that we'd come away with 4 points, I would have bitten your hand off, to be honest. So it's brilliant stuff, and it's so great to only let Chelsea have 1 point off us this season, especially when they spent £345 million and they're trying to fix problems by throwing money at it. So
Mhm.
absolutely buzzing, Jack. Did you enjoy the game?
Yes, very much enjoyed the game. It was funny going into the Golden Lion, which is obviously the main pub or one of the pubs you can drink at before you go to Craven Cottage, and it was saying away fans only, which obviously is what it is. It says home fans only all the time, but obviously Fulham playing away from home. So yeah, that was very good. And actually, it was interesting because it wasn't as busy as you usually get it on a home game because there was only 3,000 fans in that away end. So actually, it was fairly quiet. Um, but let's talk about the football. The game had no goals, but it certainly had some talking points. Let's start off with Kenny Tete. He's the man on everyone's lips at the moment. He's absolutely put in one of the best performances you'll see all season individually and collectively as a unit. Fulham were fantastic defensively.
Yeah, Kenny Tesi baby. Oh my God, he's so good. I mean, we recently saw that he's only been dribbled past twice this entire season, which is doesn't make any sense in my brain. When you play 20 matches, how that's physically possible. So he might as well be wearing a cape next time he comes out because, yeah, absolute superhero, and it's just got better and better. When he first joined, I think it was under that Parky era where everything just was going wrong. So it was like, oh, he seems okay. He seems to be a good crosser of the ball, but couldn't see much more. And like a lot of players, Marco Silva's brought out the best of him, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And now we've got Suarez as backup. It's really really exciting. It's really really good, and it will allow Bobby to get up front a bit more. But yeah, I was watching a game with a good friend yesterday, and I was trying to explain how a really like quiet nil-nil draw is a very good thing for us Fulham fans because stopping Chelsea and getting a point away from home is a huge deal. So I thoroughly enjoyed the game myself, and I didn't feel as much stress and pressure as I did watching the home game. I don't know how you felt.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I sort of went into it thinking, well, even if we lose this, at least we've got that win over them at Craven Cottage. But as the time went on, I think I got to half time, and I think the main feeling around the fans was take a point here, we'll take a point and run. And as the game went on and it was still goalless, I was thinking there's more likelihood that we're not going to nick this. And we're just going to hold on for a result. There was a couple of opportunities in like the 89th, 90th minute where we got the balls in almost outside the final third, and Harry Wilson was driving forward, but we couldn't quite find that pass. We also had the free kick with Kearney's volley that was blocked, and then Paulinia's effort wide. So we did have our chances, but just headed back to Pereira's chance in the first half. That was the one big chance that Fulham had in the game. Is it concerning you, the lack of goals we're scoring? Obviously, that's a 0 in our last 3 Premier League games, now 1 against Sunderland. But the opposition we've played, Spurs, Newcastle, Chelsea, like it's tough to score against these sort of teams.
Yeah, I think it's a different type of game plan, isn't it? When you come up against those teams, it's about containing them. And
Mm,
if you were to ask me whether we successfully stopped Chelsea nullified their creativity last night, then it's 100% yes.
mm.
Even Spurs, we completely nullified them, but it was a bit of Harry Kane magic outside the box. That was the difference. I do have some concerns about Mitrovic's current level of performance, current energy levels. There was a couple of moments last night where there was some nice link-up play from him,
Mm.
and I absolutely loved the shot from the halfway line.
Mm.
Uh, when he first hits that, you're just kind of like, "What's he doing?" And then suddenly it dips. You're like, "This is that actually on
It was
target?"
close. Mm.
Like, oh, almost caught off guard. I mean, that would have been absolutely bonkers. Uh, yeah, I'm not concerned, just given the fixture list. But now I think we need to plough forward and go back to that free-flowing attacking football and start to punish teams now. But it's just a really tough month we have to grind out. And like I said,
Mm.
4 points from those 4 games is brilliant. And the amount of goals we're conceding or not conceding. I mean, imagine at the start of the season, I said to you, Jack, 180 minutes of football against Chelsea and they won't get a single goal against us.
Well, the goal at the Craven Cottage was a slightly bizarre one, wasn't it?
Mm.
In the fact that the ball just about crossed the line. It wasn't like they carved us open. It was a rebound from hitting the post from a free kick. So, um, really pleasing to see. Since the World Cup, I think Fulham have conceded 4 goals. I think is that 4 goals in the Premier League, 5 including the one against Sunderland,
Yeah,
um,
like that.
which is really, really remarkable. Not only obviously, the last 3 league games have been 0-0, 1-0, 1-0 against Newcastle, Spurs, and then Chelsea. Not been an awful lot in it, but I was just talking about the lack of goals, but the lack of conceding goals is even more encouraging and something we can definitely take going forward.
Yeah, it shows that we can play, both styles of game. It's not just throw everyone at the ball and try and get a goal and stick Shane Duffy up front. It's very much a deliberate, tactical piece of football by Marco Silva and the team. And it's really exciting because somehow we're in sixth place, Jack, which is crazy given the last few results. And of
Mm,
course, it's all going to change. But our ambitions were to stay up and to have a solid finish. But once everything shakes out, we could easily be in 10th, and then with the fixtures coming up, it's onwards and upwards. I think it was good, shrewd business in the transfer window. We did
mm,
what we needed to do, and we offloaded a couple of players that obviously weren't working out for us, which I think was good business. And I'm really excited now. We're in the fourth round of the FA Cup. We get to play Sunderland midweek
mm,
and Leeds at home, and there's an opportunity for us to get excited about that. I feel super positive, and I think last night just showed our resilience, our work rate as a team, and everyone on that pitch was phenomenal. Tete, man of the match for me, clear as daylight, but everyone was brilliant. And like I said, Mitro a little bit quieter than I'd like to see, but it wasn't a poor performance by any means. And of course, there was that Leno scare in the end of the second half where he decided
mm.
to run out and just hold triangle on FIFA, and it was like, oh crap.
That's brilliant.
But thankfully, it was bloody Tim Ream, wasn't it, with the block again? Just like, I don't know if you guys even noticed um, that horrible chance that cut across to Havertz, and he was
Yes,
oh, and Tim
he
just
got
got
a touch, didn't he?
that ball, and if he didn't, I was like, how did Havertz miss that? But on the replay, you see he
Mm.
actually got a touch to it. So again, it's the almighty Tim Ream saving the day there.
I think that was the only moment last night, the Fofana chance where he went around the keeper, and when he turned Diop, you're basically like he's going to score, and
Yeah.
Ream just from the position I was at, I couldn't actually see Ream until the very last second where he gets the ball off the line and Diop heads away for a corner. Chelsea had maybe 3 key chances in that game: the Havertz chip that hit the post, the Havertz shot that went over the bar, and then obviously that chance around the keeper at the end. Apart from that, I don't really want to sit here and talk about Chelsea, but with the amount of money they've spent, the performance was predictable, quite disjointed. I'm sure they'll get better over time. I don't really care, but it's worth mentioning that Fulham did a number on them defensively as well.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Look at the transfer business. Arsenal's been really shrewd, really intelligent,
Mm,
and Chelsea, like I said earlier, throwing money at the problem to try and fix it. Um, and those 3 chances, yeah, that Havertz where he chips Leno and it hits the post. Oh, that made me feel sick. That was horrible. And that Enzo
yeah.
Fernandez shot was phenomenal. I was so sure that
Oh
was
yeah,
in.
and the Gallagher
Um,
one as well. Yeah,
yeah, Gallagher as well. And but no, we matched them. We matched them. I'd say maybe they had a very slight edge, but given all the money that they've spent, I went into that game feeling really nervous. Um, after the Spurs and Newcastle game, I felt maybe we were just dropping a little bit, and they had all these exciting new players that were looking good. I think maybe last night might have been a different story if they had João Felix on the pitch.
yeah.
Havertz maybe didn't quite have the same edge as he seems to have. But yeah, you think what we've spent and how much of a closer unit we are compared to what they're doing, and I would much rather be. Well, I'd always much rather be a Fulham fan, but yeah, I'd much rather be where we are than they are, and yeah, it's really fantastic.
One of the best things about last night was actually upon reflection this morning. I watched the Sky coverage, and before the game it was all about Chelsea and the money they spent. You can understand it, frustrating as it is, but post match they were big on Fulham. Neville was big on Fulham in the whole game. and then Carragher, Karen Carney, and Gary Neville were all very big on Fulham in their analysis of the way in which we defended in the four in midfield, the four at the back. The interview of Marco Silva was really, really good. And I think for the first time this season, it's only taken us 21, 22 games, we're actually getting the credit we deserve from those top, I would say top pundits. I think they're the best pundits in football coverage in England. But it was nice to have that, especially after the Monday night football where in Spurs we didn't really get any credit. But finally, we've proven to them and to others that we're here to stay.
Yeah, top football pundits underneath Gentleman Jim, of course.
Of course, yeah.
I love how Gentleman Jim gets every player's not every player's name wrong. It's a bit harsh, but like once a game, there's always one, and I just like makes me laugh so much. Bless him. He's a legend. Yeah, you know what? It's so hard for smaller teams to get the recognition they deserve, unless it's Forest. They seem to love them, but you know, as much as it pains me to say, you know, Brighton, Brentford, and Fulham this season are all completely overachieving, but there's very good reasons for that. And that's, you know, not teams that haven't spent loads of money. They've just focused on the tactics, the team, and it's all just going really, really well. And, you know, I don't know how the season's going to pan out, but we're so close to that magic 40 points. The run of fixtures we've got coming up, there are huge opportunities. You know, you've got to look at Forest at home, even though they made some more mental signings. Navas, they've got in goal now, which is
Keylor Navas, yeah.
Absolutely bonkers. That's going to be a great game. Just some really big opportunities now for us to get over that line that we were all desperate to get to, and then push forward without all the, you know, any sort of worries about that. So, yeah, it was superb last night, and putting Chelsea back in their place. And I think our dreams as Fulham fans, I don't know about you, Jack, but you know, my dream would be Europa League or Europa Conference League.
Conference League, yeah.
Hitting our heights, you know, any more than that. And I mean, obviously it's great, but you know, we know who we are. We're very grounded, and we love our club. And I think this is absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's just we just got to appreciate every moment in the season, haven't we?
I'll keep saying it until the end of the season. That the week before the Liverpool game, me and Joe Sanson were talking on the Jack and Joe show about how everyone was talking about the fact we've only got two first team centre backs in Tosin and Ream. They both started against Liverpool. We got the point, and from there we just pushed on. And it's so refreshing to see a promoted team come up and you know, you got to give it to Brentford. They did it last season. They were on a decent points tally early on, and they pushed on. And obviously they dropped off, but as soon as Eriksen came in, that basically helped them stay up. Phenomenal player for the level, and hence we're seeing it now at Manchester United, albeit he's now injured. But I'm just like, it's just incredible how we've come up. We've gone to places like even like City when we lost, we still gave them a game. We gave Chelsea a game. We gave Arsenal a game. We gave Spurs a game. I'm sure we'll give United a game on the last day of the season when hopefully, you know, it's going to be a bit of a dead rubber for us, and maybe they'll be pushing for something, but or maybe we'll be pushing for something. You never know. I just want to bring up a comment here just to quickly end on. If Enzo is worth 107 million, Paulinho is worth 110. I mean, you look at Enzo's performance, it was good. It was as you'd expect. He'll get better, I'm sure. But Paulinho, yet again, just proving what a bargain he was. Apart from, you know, Haaland, he's got to be one of the signings of the season. Would you agree?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Obviously, us Fulham fans, we all know that. I think in terms of the money Chelsea has spent, I think that's a case of hitting the big red panic button in the January transfer window, which we know is always a bit more costly because, you know, teams aren't desperate to get rid of their players at that stage, and they know they can get a bit more money out of them because other teams are desperate to fix their problems. Whereas our business has been very much planned. You know, it was quite nice to hear about some of our recent signings. You know, Tony Khan was saying, "Oh, we've actually had our eye on them for a number of years, and we've been watching them, but the time just wasn't right." And it's good to know that that level of forward thinking has been there, and those relationships with Marco Silva, you know, are already embedded in teams he worked previously, like Sporting and things like that. And I love that every time we interview a player, you know, they ask, "Oh, what are the reasons for joining?" Other than us being the best club in the world, it's they always say, "Oh, yeah, Marco Silva is a huge influence," and yeah, you know, let's get the statue ready because he's an absolute legend. But yeah, Enzo Fernandez, good performance. It's crazy they're throwing in these completely new players in. They probably had about 1 or 2 training sessions. You know what I mean? In a
Mm.
bit of time, Chelsea are going to be a terrifying force, especially when they get Felix back up top. But for now, we can enjoy them just crashing and burning. And Potter's going to be under a lot of pressure. He's going to have to start getting consistent wins, otherwise he won't be there much longer.
I just want to address a couple of comments I've seen about Mitrovic from some of the comments. Is there a case for Mitrovic being dropped, or is that crazy? I think that is crazy because ultimately, the last 3 games we've played against teams who are going to be more front foot than us in Spurs, Chelsea, and Newcastle, who were on the front foot and were the better teams. And Mitrovic is going to have to feed off scraps. We're going to have to make of what we've got, which is going to be limited attacks, limited chances. And with that, obviously, the penalty was unlucky at Newcastle. How hungover are you? Not as bad as I thought, to be fair, which is good. Just finally, I just want to say, Mitrovic has been stellar this season, so good, but he's allowed an off game, especially when we're the team who are second favourites to win a game. And I think against Forest, when hopefully it's going to be more even, or maybe we'll be on top, we'll see more of what he can bring to that, and that's hold up play from deep, chances in the box. He's still a player who's had the most. I think he's had like the most shots in the box of any player in the Premier League this season. Albeit it doesn't always equal goals, but at least he's getting in there and having those chances, Stephen.
Yeah, we need to feed him. He's an animal, and you put him in a system like Parker's, and it's not how he plays. He wants the ball as often as possible. He wants to fight people, and give him the chances, and he'll get them on target. Like, it's just a case of it's been a rough month, and we've had to play a different style of football to get through it. And I wouldn't change it because we've done a brilliant job. So I think let's judge Mitrovic over the next month, give him opportunities. And I imagine we'll walk away from the end of February being like, oh, yeah, he's bagged another 4 goals or something silly like that. So, yeah, no, it's not crazy. Like, I understand the frustrations because, when Mitra has an off day, it feels a bit sluggish and it is a bit frustrating. But I don't think it's his fault right now. So, yeah, and Vinicius is looking good. It's a difficult role to play as centre forward, isn't it? So yeah, I think give it a little bit more time on that one. That's my response to that. And back to Paino as well. Really annoyed me that yellow card he got on the 21st minute because he didn't touch the player. I don't know if you saw that.
It was the way in which he went to ground, wasn't it, from behind?
It's like if you don't make any contact with the player, like
that's his 8th yellow of the season as well. If he gets 2 more yellows, he's out for not only 1 game but 2 because it will be a second suspension of the season.
I mean, luckily we've got Lukic, but
yeah.
It annoys me when he gets it early because then the rest of the game, he's not going to be flying in like some sort of crazy cat, which is what we all want to see. So, yeah, that was a bit of an annoying one. On the telly, when you watched it, you could see there was just no contact. And but hey, didn't affect it, did it? So, yeah, Paino, best player in the Premier League.
He's up there, isn't he? Stephen, it's been brilliant. What a great result. We can enjoy our weekends now. Don't have to worry until Wednesday, where, by the way, I would play Mitrovic in that game. Against Sunderland, the replay. I've just for his confidence and for the fact that I feel like we can really take the cup seriously. And I think Marco actually reiterated that after the game last night. Thanks so much for joining me today and have a great weekend.
See you later, Jack. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with a Jack and Joe show at some point this week, maybe before the Sunderland game. I'm not really sure. I'll have to speak with Joe, but yeah, as these things happen. But yeah, we'll see you at the Cottage next week against Nottingham Forest. And enjoy your weekend. Come on, Fulham.
You would.